Welcome to another episode of VNture Podcast, your weekly source of visual novel goodness. I am Mar, and together with Tauros, we shall venture into another discussion about VN. This episode, we talk about the most mind-boggling, ridiculous, and straight-out Asspullish VN reveals we remember. So tell me, Tauros, what qualifies for today's topic?
Well, before we get into that, I want to let everyone know right off the bat, all you listeners, that this is going to be the first time we have a spoiler episode. That's right. All of our other episodes, we've been skirting around the bush, being very considerate of people who may not have read certain visual novels. But in this episode, because of the topic, all bets are off. We are going to be talking about endgame spoilers for various titles, including Fate Stay Night, the Zero Escape series, mostly Zero Time Dilemma. And which two do you have, MR?
I prepared the Senki Gold and Princess X.
Yes. So, if you have intentions of reading these titles, you may want to turn away now. I'm giving you warning ahead of time. We don't want to hamper any of our dear viewers' interest in the future, so huge heads up warning.
Yep.
But yes, this episode will be about the various Asspulls in visual novels. All the times that they try to tell stories, some of them are very effective, but sometimes there's a few moments that just break your immersion and ruin the story. How could they do this? So first things first, what exactly is an Asspull? Usually, people mean it as a forced narrative development. There is some sort of plot twist or plot advancement, something to advance the story along, that was not foreshadowed or set up enough. Even when you get into ridiculous genres like sci-fi or mystery or the supernatural, they still have some sort of rules to the story. The aspects in those stories have to work a certain way, and they have to exist within certain frameworks. And when you get deep into the story, past Act 1, when they're supposed to set up all of these rules for your understanding, and then the story just breaks them anyways, it makes you wonder why you got invested in the story in the first place. That's what causes these Asspulls and why they hurt your enjoyment so much. It's kind of like a detective story where at the climax, the detective reveals an important piece of evidence he found that ties the case all together that he just never showed the reader. And so you're sitting there like, what the heck? What was the point of me trying to follow along in this murder mystery when he hid this from me? It sucks. The detective is expected to share everything with the reader. And when you break this kind of rule, it really hurts your enjoyment. Right, Amar?
Yeah, exactly. And you feel, in a way, robbed by being invested, but not being trusted enough with all the information. Or at least not foreshadowed enough.
Mm-hmm. I mean, sometimes you can have Asspulls in a story, and yet the reader likes it. Like if it's something ridiculous or if it's comedic, it still works out. It's simply a matter of how much the reader was expecting this kind of plot twist to come about. If it feels unfair or cheap, in my mind, that's what makes it an Asspull in a story.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, it can still create a satisfying ending, but we can recognize, it came out of nowhere to resolve everything, okay?
So on that note, as much as I love Fate Stay Night, it's one of my favorite titles, one of the first ones I read, and it holds a dear spot in my heart. But oh man, it is full of Asspulls. I think one of the funniest ones, like the establishing note for that visual novel, is near the beginning, where Saber and Lancer are fighting, and Lancer is all like, all right, I'm gonna have to bust out my noble phantasm, Gabulg, where it always strikes the victim heart. It can't be dodged. It's guaranteed. This is my trump card. And then he uses it to stab Saber, and he's like, "What? You dodged it." It's like, wait, where the hell did that come from?
This example just hurts my soul. Especially since the build-up is like, you cannot escape. It is definite. It reverses the cause and effect. So once I say it, it happened. It for sure is guaranteed 100%. Do I even have to ask the question how many times he successfully landed that noble phantasm? I'd rather not.
Oh my god, I don't think he ever did.
Nope. I mean, truth be told, it's in Hollow Ataraxia once, but yeah, it's abysmal scar.
Plus, I mean, we can admit that that's a really good ability, and if he just went, if he just went the entire VN just gay-bulging people in the heart right at the start, it would be an unentertaining story. So yeah, I understand why this sort of thing can't work with him, but still, really. It's such a lazy answer. It's guaranteed. Oh wait, no, it's not, lol.
It's such a betrayal by saying, yes, I'm invincible, and you never win. Like, what? Like, I feel, wait, should I trust others when they say spout, or all of their fakes are bullshit as well?
Exactly. And see, that's why it's really a great establishing moment for Fate Stay Night, because it gets you in the mindset to not ever really care about their guidelines all that much.
Cool.
I know the whole thing is about power levels, and they give the status ranks of like disengage rank A and stuff to try and give some sort of comparisons to everything. But when you look at the story and what the text is actually accomplishing, you gotta admit, don't care too much about the rules. You just gotta go with the feels.
Exactly, especially since part of the established mystery surrounding all the servants is 1, their identity, and 2, given the knowledge about their identity and mythos surrounding them, how can you exploit that as a weakness? But with such Asspulls, like, then it can go any direction, and you're like, okay, so let me not figure it out, just read it as it goes along.
Exactly. Speaking of weakness, there's another one that's... Okay, there's a worse Asspull in the Fate route. Early in the story, a problem that Shiro has is that he can't transfer mana to Saber, because he's an inexperienced master. And her greatest strength is that she can burn through tons of mana to make herself so much stronger. And so this is the main conflict that's driving the Fate route, is that, oh no, she has to conserve her energy because Shiro can't give her any. How is she going to win this whole Holy Grail war? It's like, she busted out Excalibur to take out Ryder, but it's like, she can't do that any more times, and now there's still like 5 other enemies out there. What are we going to do? And so they're running away from the Einsburn Castle when Archer does his sacrifice to help them get away. And then out of nowhere, they're hiding out in the shed. And Rin is like, hey, so there's some other way you can get mana. Yeah, you could just do the hanky-panky with her. And it's like, what?
No.
The only other solution was like for servants to kill innocent people to take their mana. And both Shiro and Saber are both like, no, we're not going to do that. That's evil. So it's like, okay, so there's this whole moral contradiction, how they're going to win, how they're going to do all this. And then here's just some cop-out answer of, oh yeah, you can also do it with the bloody fluids and stuff. And it's like, well, that's a perfect solution, ain't it?
It's just...
So then of course later Saber's all perfect, and then she fights Hercules, and then just this is never an issue for the whole rest of the route. Now she's just got her mana and she can just fight and kick ass. And it's like, what the hell?
It was so stupid how they solved it in immediately. Something that was established as a drama and a point of conflict of, we should never stoop down to such an act to gain more power to win. Okay, so we'll make it work. And then everything solved. Like, what?
Exactly. And it's like, it's another question of like, well, okay, why was Rain hiding this the whole time?
Yeah, true.
I don't get. And then, of course, we all know how infamous those H scenes are.
Yeah, that's true.
So this was just like a triple whammy of all sorts of bad stuff. And I'm never going to get that searing memory out of my head. Fate Stay Night was like one of the first VNs I read. I didn't know they had adult content. And I was reading along and suddenly things got real weird. And I was like, wow, what the
They got steamy, not in the direction you thought of, okay?
No.
Oh my god.
Oh, geez. But then, yeah, like I said, it mangled the story too. It's just, what an asshole. Oh, man. I'm still frustrated about that. But not as frustrated as probably the biggest asshole in all of Fate Stay Night.
Oh, yeah?
It's at the end of the Unlimited Bladeworks route, where Archer freaking dies. Gilgamesh just freaking stabbed him with all his stuff. Archer even gets a custom sprite just for this moment where he is just stabbed and pierced with all sorts of weapons and swords and stuff, and he dies. And days later, Shiro and friends are fighting, and they're trying to, and it's like, uh-oh, their backs are up against the wall. And Archer comes out of nowhere and gets the kill steal. And he's like, oh, hi, I'm fine, actually.
This is so... Oh, you were so invested from that sacrifice. And then they cheapened it so much, but yeah, I got better for a moment.
How the hell is he alive? I don't get it. Like, the official explanation is like, oh, he just went spirit form and no one noticed. And then he just waited around to make his big reveal. But it's like, really? Okay, number one, no one noticed. Servants can tell when they're in spirit form. And another thing, like I said, he was practically dead. And then he went days without a master and he's fine. That's still ridiculous.
Yeah.
I understand that, like, that's the whole gimmick of Fate is like, oh, don't get too caught up in the rules and stuff. But it's like, really? There's a limit to how far I can go.
Yeah, but even if we were to believe that explanation, wouldn't that change the entire battle? If all the spirits could just go, oh, you know what? I don't want to die, bye. And disappear for a moment.
Exactly.
Or, like, it's cheap.
I mean, part of the reason they don't is because if they go into spirit form, they can't defend their master, and then they'll just die because they're weak sauce. But still, it's a really weird cop-out to just be like, oh, I can go, invisible and incorporeal whenever I want. And I mean, that's never really been addressed because that's kind of a weird cop-out because of the Asspulls it is. But still.
It is. and I feel like we could definitely find examples in which servants fought without masters present or exposed to danger. Mm-hmm. So at that point, there is no reason not to spirit away.
Oh my god, yeah.
Right? Like, this changes so much.
It's the sort of thing, it just gets you more frustrated the more you think about it.
Yeah.
For my own mental sake, it's like, okay, I need to cut this off before. There's still more Asspulls, but it's like, okay, I don't want to think about this anymore. Oh my goodness. Whatever. What have you got, MR? Save us.
Okay. So I prepared a Yusenki. Okay. So it's an isekai setting in which a protagonist with amnesia ends up in a territory of Japan. Okay? He doesn't know who he is or where he comes from. And this is an Edo period Japan with characters, cute anime girls, being manifestation of famous mythical or historical people. Sounds familiar? Yeah, it's kind of fate-ish in that way. So, over the course of the story, you try to bring the world together and make a world a peaceful place by conveniently conquering all the nations around the globe. To the fact, for some reason or another, they wage war on your country. It's super convenient, okay? Oh my god. The more you explore the story, the more it's revealed that every one of those leaders of those hostile nations are infected with what I would call bad vibes, okay? And it makes them hostile. And after every region is conquered, the vibes are restored, they have good vibes, and join your cause. This is so convenient and so stupid. I lose brain cells trying to analyze it. Okay? But listen up. Unbeknownst to everybody, behind all of that, there is some secret organization. And later on it's revealed it's Illuminati. Okay, great. Okay. But remember, the premise is isekai, so there's a lot of drama. Will he remember? And once he remember, what will he decide? Because a lot of isekai hinge on, will he stay? Will he go back? I mean, will the emotional investment be that you found friends and maybe lovers in the new world and you won't leave them alone? Like that's the emotional stake. Okay, so you go to the root of it all. You find the big but. It's Pandora's box, the source of all evil. Okay. And you defeat Pandora's box. Great. Everybody lost their bad vibes. Everybody's friendly. And you get you get all your memories back. And you're not human. That's the reveal, okay? You were just created because the world needed a hero. That's it.
Oh, so like
what?
it's not just you're not human. It's like you never even existed prior to being summoned. Is that right?
Yeah. That's it. I'm like, wait, what? That was my legit reaction when I read it. Like, wait, what? How is that? That's so cheap. Like, there's no stake anymore. Okay, so everything in the entire story was conveniently laid out for you to win everything. And not even have drama resolve. It's just like, yeah, you just are created. What?
Well, actually, that's interesting. Well, it's...
I really didn't like that.
You mentioned that...
Nothing in the entire story mentioned or foreshadowed that you are not human. Or you are not really a person.
I see. Because yes, if there was nothing setting it up, then it does feel like just a twist ending just to have something. But you mentioned like the whole story, all the obstacles were meant to be overcome?
I mean,
I don't think so. Because if you could have a character who was formulated entirely just to be an awesome leader who will save the world, okay? But that doesn't mean that you're guaranteed to. There's still a struggle involved, right? It's still unknown if you'll succeed or not, right?
Yeah. No. It was so convenient and so even... I mean, ultimately, what I was disappointed with is that none of the conflict had any reason to be other than the big bad manipulated minds of people to be evil. And they weren't after you conquered them and everybody lived peacefully ever after. Like, that's such a fluffy nothing burger.
Okay.
And to top it off with the ultimate drama of whether or not he will realize this is his home and he will stay instead of going back from when he came to be chipping into, yeah, but you were created for this purpose. Like, what? I was invested. Like, how would they do it? Some isekai like to cop out and say, yeah, you can't even bring them with you to the modern times. Like that's a cop-out happy ending. Sometimes they said, "Oh, okay, you know what? Screw the real world. I like it here more here." Okay, and this game is like, yeah, but there was no real world ever. Like what? You are from
Oh,
this world. Like, huh?
so it's not even an isekai at all. It's just a fantasy.
Yeah, true. But it was treated as isekai for the entire playthrough.
That's a shame.
Yeah, it's just the story was so convenient, and the major reveal just cheapened it to me, because it would matter so much more emotionally with the investment I had. Like when the protagonist realizes, yeah, this is my home. Like, yeah, that's an emotional investment and a payoff I would expect. Yeah, he realized this is his home. He made friends. He made some loved ones. Cool. But now it's like, yeah, nothing really mattered. Yeah, you were created for this, huh?
And I noticed with some of these Asspulls that we've mentioned is that it really kills any future direction. Like how you've been saying, how you just
Yes.
lost that entire character dilemma beforehand of their homeland
Yeah.
or the new place. And now you're like, it's like, well, no, you don't have any connections. Now it's just you can do whatever you want, apparently. Why should I care?
Exactly. It's so so convenient and such a unsatisfying conclusion, to be honest.
Oh, I see. Never thought of that. But yeah, you're right. That really hurts.
Yeah, I must. I really wish I liked it better, because the art style of the EU Senki games were always amazing, and the side quests and exploration of those historical figures was always really fun, because obviously it was anime. They were hit with anime beam, and it was funny to see how they would behave given some anime trope. Fine. And probably my favorite character was a character who she was looking for famous historical swords and all the weapons. Like, that was super cool. Every single time a new quest appeared, I open on the other monitor. Okay, I need to Google what the hell is this new weapon. I need to know what's behind it all. That was so cool.
Yep, that's an MR game.
Exactly. And
it makes you pull up Google on the second monitor to check everything.
Yeah. Why the story had to be so crap? I feel betrayed.
Oh my goodness.
Please, we need to change topic. Please, hit me with something of yours.
Oh my god. Okay. There's another title I've read. Oh man, that I had high expectations for, and things went off the rails there. Oh boy, I am talking about Zero Time Dilemma. Which actually probably isn't even a visual novel. But still, as the final third entry of the Zero Escape series, there was a lot of expectations. It had a whole story to finish up. It was going to be about this fated Mars expedition. It's going to be about them saving the world and all of humanity, basically. And things were shaping up, even if they were a little bit shaky. There was stuff about aliens that really threw me for a swerve. Like, once the game opened up and I could choose my own scenes to follow up the story in the mid-game, the first one I found was investigating this frickin' alien transportation room. I was like, wait, is this serious? The Zero Escape series has never once entertained the notion of there being frickin' aliens. And then I just walk into this room and like, oh yeah, here's a frickin' alien technology that was scavenged 100 years ago. That's just sitting here. And here's the instructions on how to send yourself through space-time. It's like, what? I know, MR, you you have played Zero Time Dilemma, but you aren't aware of the other two Zero Escape games, right?
I need to explain myself. Okay.
You can't explain yourself.
I need to explain myself. There was a time I really was invested in escape rooms. And I thought maybe there's a cool game about escape rooms on Steam. And it just so happened that Zero Time Dilemma released somewhere along that period of time, right? Okay, so I looked into it, and that was the only officially translated and ported title. So I said, okay, let's check it out. Apparently, that was the absolute worst decision I could have done. Okay, now I know. I got scolded by you many times before. Okay, I get it. But to me, uneducated guy who just thinks, okay, escape rooms. I want to try escape room anime style. Okay, Zero Time Dilemma looks like that. Let's check it out. And to be frank, the first couple of hours, I had a lot of fun solving the rooms, seeing how the story develops. Oh boy. Oh. But the moment I reached some of those breaking points, they try to explain on the meta level things. I just no. I draw the line. When you have computers that compute which timeline you are, and your answer to the password does not match your timeline, I'm out. Bye. Nope. No, I disagree.
I'm amazed you even made it that far. How did any of the story make sense to you?
Just
You jumped straight into the third entry of a trilogy, and you were pretty cool up until that part with the computer, huh? Wow. Oh my goodness.
That's the one I remember to this day. This was so egregious to me. Like, what the hell? No.
Yeah, there were many things all throughout Zero Time Dilemma that were just really taking leaps of logic. Like, wow, I'm not really familiar with the whole, computer timeline stuff, staying in different timelines. It's been a little bit touched upon in the past, so I kind of gave a pass to it. And there was the stuff about Q being that robot kid. And it was like, okay, well, I guess we can follow along a little. But obviously, the absolute worst of the Asspulls moments was when we get to the end with Delta revealing himself as the mastermind. Good Lord, how could the developers have dropped mind hacking on us? Where apparently he's just been mind controlling people with his telepathic powers. And this has not been set up or foreshadowed in the series at all. Some people try to say, oh, well, this throwaway line back in 999 points to it. No, it doesn't. No, stop. He just comes out being like, yes, I mind controlled you into shooting your guns at people and whatever. And I'm sitting here like, is this game serious? Did I miss like an entire game of setup somewhere? Apparently not. Apparently this is happening. Goodness gracious. I love that, like you said, it tried to get a little meta about it, about, blurring the lines between you and the player and whatnot. But like the games previously in 999 and Virtue's Last Reward, they set it up the whole game. When they had that kind of blurring of the lines, at least you could see the distinction. You could see what caused those, but not in Zero Time Dilemma, where it's like, yeah, I've been deciding the course of this game this entire time. And it's like, are you serious? I can't believe you.
I really don't want to be that guy who defends this, okay?
You go get out of here.
Right? But oddly enough, for the first, I don't know if I can even call it a playthrough, but the moment I was following along one group, because it was escape room that divided all the survivors into 3 groups. You could choose a perspective, follow along, make jump choices, blah blah blah. That affected start. Okay, fine. And when I just followed along the first group I chose to the conclusion, I vividly remember there was a game about betrayal, and you have a choice of whether or not you betray the other guy who is playing. Okay, and the game ends, and that when I choose, I will be. Okay, I calculate in my mind, so I have to betray to win, okay? Because they will also betray, and that will come to the draw, right? Okay, but they didn't. So I was the bad guy. I'm like, okay, so what? So I fucked up. Let's rewind time. I'm not going to betray, but they betrayed me. Like, what? So the game played on tricks on me. Okay, so the next time, what to do? So, and like, okay, that was actually interesting. But the moment they tied together all the stories and branches, no. That stuff was too crazy. When they started, oh my, what was that? How they jump between timelines? They had to use a password, and they willed themselves into another timeline. Oh my, that was so stupid. Oh my god, that was so stupid. Especially the timelines in which the antagonist said he doesn't exist in that timeline, and he's using recording from another timeline. My mind was like, this is stupid, and I just can't. No.
But you don't understand. He had to do it. He was the mastermind, and killing 6 billion people will save the world. You just gotta trust me, bro.
Oh my god.
My motives are complex.
Oh, that's
God.
I just can't.
I
was so angry.
Oh my god. On a different note, actually, I didn't realize this until recently. There was a buddy of mine who was playing through 9 hours, 9 people, 9 doors. And he didn't actually know it was a sci-fi story. He was just following along on the mystery as the main character got kidnapped and he's trying to work with others to escape.
Yeah.
And sure, the characters talk about sci-fi concepts all the time, but they're still open-ended. It's just a sort of, just to pull an example, hey, what if ghosts really exist? And the game has several discussions on ghosts and how suspicious some haunted locations are, but a ghost never actually exists. I'm not saying that literally in 999, it's just that's the kind of example I'm using. So when the ending came around of 999 and a lot of supernatural stuff starts really happening, my poor buddy was not prepared, and it really left a bad taste in his mouth because he wasn't expecting it. From his point of view, all of this sci-fi stuff really was an Asspul, and I was like, "Aww,
it's just
poor guy." So not even the first zero escape entry is safe from this Asspul.
God damn.
Aye.
Yeah, I just can't. I really wanted something simple, escape room, anime style, and what I got made me mad.
Oh, don't worry, it made a lot of people mad.
Oh, so I've heard. I can definitely believe that. Man, it's like.
Well, what do you think now, Amar? What are your thoughts?
I mean, as a palate cleanser, I wish to probably revisit the 99999s, the previous titles, but I have to say it's dispiriting to go back after having this be the conclusion. Right?
Oh my
Is
goodness.
this how it ends?
You weren't joking. You really did pick the absolute worst way to start.
Exactly.
Oh.
Exactly. Like, what? Oh, man.
Ah, jeez. I'm tired all over again.
I can imagine.
This episode is not good for my heart.
Yes. Oh my god. So, and with that being said, I think we have concluded all of that. So, I mean, to end this episode because, oh my god, it makes me mad to rethink. It makes me mad to rethink this real-time dilemma.
There's so much. On the one hand, I love reading visual novels because of the stories, and sometimes the stories really lay on the emotions, and they have the great character growth, and they've got the amazing twists. But sometimes they build it all up, and they get you invested just to pull the rug out from under you with one awfully timed Asspul.
Exactly.
How could they do this to us?
Exactly. How could they?
For anyone listening, I hope all of the VNs you're reading end better than our poor experiences.
Yeah, I hope all of you did not get discouraged from reading 999 at the very least. I hope that episode made it fun to laugh along. And to be frank, even though we outlined some Asspullish, I still recommend Fate Stay Night. Okay? And with that being said, thanks for listening and venture out.
Venture out.